I've never had a time in my professional life where Americans have been more concerned about their own self-protection.
Okay, so today we're getting back to the anatomy and injury to the human body. And to intro the piece of anatomy that we're going to be looking at today, I was able to secure Will Ferrell to tell us exactly what we're going to be up to. Will, take it away.
Who are we?
Tigers.
What?
Tigers.
All right, let's break someone's clavicle on 3. 1, 2, 3. Break someone's clavicle. Hit the field. Let's go.
That's a trick, you know that?
Move it.
So yes, we are going after the clavicle, which is better known to laymen as the collarbone. You can feel it right here. Attaches at your shoulders. It's right at the top of your sternum here. You feel a little nub on either side, and it goes all the way up. It basically allows you to raise your arms. It provides structure to the shoulders. It's a very strong bone this way, but it is not able to take a lot of impact directly on. You know, there's not much behind the collarbone at all. And so it makes for a pretty easy injury to the human body, and it's devastating what the effects are. It's also one of the few bones in our body that we can break with our own structure. So we don't need a tool to do this. You can actually do it with your ulna bone very successfully and break a collarbone. So it's kind of unique because most bones of the human body require a tool like a club or a bat to be able to break it. But this one does not require it. So we're going to go back to the world of sports injury, and we're going to get a couple of examples. People colliding with the planet, people colliding with each other, and then you're going to see the results of what this does to somebody. And then we'll go over on how you might use it for your self-protection and what you get out of it. So first we're going to go to football. Tony Roma in 2010 got his collarbone broken when he was being tackled, and it's covered here.
You'll see it here.
Going back, watch this tackle. The other angle is going to show you just how he drives him in.
With that non-throwing shoulder, the left shoulder, painful. John Kitten is their backup. Injury timeout in Dallas.
And he grabbed for it right away on the other side. So that particular injury, what you saw was when he got the tackle, the guy that's tackling him wrapped right around his shoulder so that this was completely exposed. And that's what he drove into the ground. And when he did that, that's when the collarbone broke and snapped on Tony Roma. And what was interesting was the collarbone side, there's a picture of him laying out, and this whole arm is just unused. He's basically, holding on the other side. And that's really what you get out of this. What you get is you basically, by breaking the collarbone, all of a sudden the whole shoulder group doesn't have structure. It drops on top of the lung, so it makes it more difficult to breathe. You've got a broken bone. We're not talking about a fracture. We're talking about a break. And we got a broken bone, so you got bone shard going around. So your other arm, this uninjured, is basically securing your shoulder on this side. So even though you're going to definitely lose 25% of your available tools, you probably going to lose 50%, another, just securing the arm. So that's, again, another reason why it's such a devastating injury and why it's so useful when it comes to your self-protection, because if you can start shutting people down and their ability to use their body to injure you, it's always a good thing. So now we are going to go to Australian football, female Australian rules football. And she's going in for a tackle. She runs into somebody, and you can just see how quickly she gets dropped on here. So let's take a look at this.
Fremantle. So look at the replay here, Kiara. Some size for the footy.
Okay.
Yeah, came straight off the wing.
So I'm going to stop it right there. Okay. So what I want you to see here is it looks like the bigger girl that gets knocked to the ground is the one who you might thought was hurt first, but it's not. It's this girl right here with the brown hair. And watch what happens with her response. What happens is she runs in. Now look at the bigger girl, the girl whose head is above her right now. Watch her elbow as it comes out, and you'll see how the impact happened. Okay, boom. See how straight the elbow came out straight? And look at her. She's just immobilized. Okay. And so what I wanted you to see on that, the reason, with the impact, what happened was as she was going and she was running right towards the girl, they collided. And when they collided, a really good structure happened right there. It was the elbow, okay, backed up by the humerus. And it was just, it's like she ran in right into a concrete piling. And it just, the structure of this small bone couldn't take it, snapped right away, knocked her down. She was immobilized on that. So again, it's just like that. When you snap the collarbone, it's bad. This last one that I'm going to show is from skateboarding. And you see a lot of skateboarders and you see a lot of motocross guys who get thrown and just slap out. Like people actually slap out in their back and they've broken their collarbones. This kid, you're going to see everything. It's going to be very graphic. There's also some graphic language in it. But I looked at it a couple of times and it's worth it because a couple of the angles that you get to actually see what it looks like when the collarbone is broken. And how, if you did this to somebody, you can see just how much you would debilitate them. All right. There it goes. Okay. So he's impacted with the planet. You can see, as you're going to start to see, he's going to start cussing. He's going to be really freaked out. At first, he thinks he just dislocated his shoulder. Then he realizes it's broken, and he just starts immobilizing himself. You can see that he doesn't let go of the arm that has been injured. And then you get to actually see the bone. Okay?
Oh, Dud.
What'd you hit?
Oh, my collar, dude. Oh! Oh! Fuck. Oh, dude, I think it's broke, seriously. Oh, no.
See?
No.
These guys holding it.
Fuck, dude, I think it's broke. My collar's seriously sticking out of its fucking skin.
Dude.
Oh, my God, dude. This isn't good.
Take your shirt off.
This isn't good, dude.
No, stay still, stay still. Don't move.
Oh, dude, no, it's broke. It is fucking broke.
No, watch.
Oh, my God, it's dislocated.
See?
Stay still.
Oh, no, it's broke.
Now he knows
fucking
it's broke.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, my
Watch
God.
this.
I am so fucked, dude.
Let me see it.
I'm
This
supposed
is
to be
what-
leaving Sunday.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, my God, I don't even want to look at it.
Move your shirt.
Oh!
Look at that. Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit, highlight this. Again, look, it almost looks like a finger, like he has an extra finger sticking up. That is his collarbone that's been broken. Okay, so it's been shortened. The whole shoulder joint has been shortened. The shoulder group's been shortened because the bone's been broken. I'll show you some film of broken collarbones to see what it looks like. But with this, you get to see right away. He collides with the planet, it snaps right away, and you see how he just has immobilized his whole upper body. So again, yes, you're taking away one arm, but oftentimes, as I showed you, the other arm is immobilized as well because it's holding it in place because it doesn't want that broken bone swirling around, starting cutting more tissue and possibly get into a nerve or a vein or artery. So again, just immobilizing yourself on that. Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like a little bit with these collarbones. What happens? Okay, so this is just a break. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this here for you. There we go. And if you just see this, you can see it's just a break right here. And that's pretty clean. Now, what happened to this kid that you just saw on the skateboard is actually this. Here, let's expand this a little bit for you. Okay, and you see the shortening right here. You see how the bone goes under each other, and the whole shoulder group just actually, just converges on that, and that is just extremely painful. And again, it's cutting into, like I said, other tissue and things like that. So again, it's a simple thing to understand. When you go in, if you feel these bones, just feel them right now. You can actually, get your fingers in and around them. You can see there's nothing behind that, that structure. It's very easy. It's just like this stick that is literally, just out there. And all you have to do is put enough force. And again, when we say enough force, that means everything you got. You know, it's not like, okay, it takes 25 pounds of pressure. You hear people give these quotes all the time. Listen, you're always going to strike as hard and as fast as you can to these areas. But the interesting thing about this is the response to the trauma. When a person gets struck to the collarbone, they turn away, obviously, and grab and immobilize. But what they do at the same time is they're throwing their second collarbone out at you, literally right at you. They throw the other collarbone. So you can do a 1-2 strike pattern with all your body weight, and you can break both collarbones. I've seen it done very effectively. There was a guy who this was his move all the time, and it was very unsuspecting for people, and it's quick. What you have to understand is, again, this is just taking out with one strike basically 25% of the body's tools. And again, with the hand going to the other side to immobilize it, basically his whole upper body is unavailable to him. So again, high value strike. You get a lot out of this, and it's a very simple strike to execute. So again, this is why it's worth looking at anatomy. This is why it's worth looking at sports injury, because these same injuries keep coming up over and over and over again. Tactically, this has been used during wartime when, and again, not under Geneva Conventions or anything like that, but there's a pretty famous story of one army leaving behind 3 guys to handle about 25 prisoners. And what they did was they went right down the line. They broke one collarbone on each one of the prisoners. They had to march them back, and they were marching back holding one arm, basically. And so that's how they, were able to leave just a couple of guys to control a lot of people using, injury in a very tactical way. So listen, this is just food for thought. It's one of those things where people, until you actually see it and you see how easy it is to do, you're pretty amazed by it. And what's interesting was people who are more muscularly developed, it's actually easier to see where their collarbones are. And so when you're training this, what's interesting is you want to train with as many different body types as possible, because if I'm going to say be striking with my ulna bone, there are different angles you're going to come at to break the collarbone. If a guy has more of a barrel chest, you're going to come at more of a 45 type degree angle. If it's like a runner, you can almost come in flush on people like that. So again, that's why it's so worthwhile to work with as many body types as possible, so you get just used to seeing where on the human body you want to put all your efforts. So remember, if you want to go in depth on this type of information, go to timlarkin.com, sign up for the free masterclass, and we start identifying all these areas of the human body for you, and you can put together your own self-protection plan. Until next time, stay safe.